Cool. So I'll introduce myself, Ruby will introduce herself, and then I'll before Ruby jumps on, I will just introduce light language and Kundalini as well. So Ruby and I know each other through our teacher training, and I think we can both agree that we have always found Kundalini yoga to be very life-changing, because I love it because in about 3 minutes you can really change how you feel in your body and in your energy. And so sometimes it can be just the quickest fix to turn your day around. And so for me, once I started doing the teacher training, I then started incorporating Kundalini with light language. And if any of you don't know light language, it's weird, but then Kundalini is a bit weird as well. So they go together really well. With Kundalini yoga, you'd be like, your hands up here and your arms thing here, and you're breathing in a certain way, and you're like, why am I doing this? And then you're like, oh, I feel amazing, great. So you just stop questioning it, but it is about 5 to 30,000 years old. I'm not sure where they get like how much of a reach there is on those two numbers, but it's old, it's ancient. And when you're doing it, it's really doing a lot of things for the body. It's moving neural pathway, it's kind of just reprogramming some of our old crap that we hold on to. Light language also is very weird. Basically, I channel light beings, and they come through me in a weird language that sounds like gobbledygook, but actually what it is doing is bypassing your language bias, bypassing your ego and your subconscious beliefs and blocks, and kind of able to get right in there with whatever messages you're needed. And so that means that it's getting to your soul. Your soul is understanding what is being said, and the cells of your body understand what is being said. And the rest is you can sit there being like, what is this? This is weird. But it's being received. And that's really cool about it, because we can actually kind of like sidestep a lot of our own kind of inner turmoil, let's call it. And then the other thing about the light language is that, it kind of keeps kind of peeling away layers. So it starts in there, kind of cleans out a little bit. So what the process that Ruby and I have worked on for this is all creative focused, kind of about kind of clearing out any blocks around creativity, about creating space for you to bring in more flow, and then energizing you so that you kind of have the encouragement then to go out and do something with that afterwards. So it should be a really nice 60 minutes. We might run over, both of us talked about, we may just run over. So if you do need to go on time, then please, do just pop yourself out. And I can always send you the replay for the last bit if then there's anything missing, but we're aiming to get for 60 minutes. And I think that's the main stuff. Also, I will ask you to kind of pop in at points and just kind of check that you're, like kind of give permission for the light language and for the Kundalini to work. And of course, everything that is coming through today, both Kundalini and light language, is for your highest and best good. So there's nothing but good vibes, good energy. Most people feel very good after both the combination of both things, and often people sleep very well after a light language session as well. So it's win-win. So it's good. But Ruby, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Not too much, other than with the Kundalini, if at any time you feel like there is one posture where we will have arms overhead. So just do your best. And same with the mantras, because there is a bit of chanting in this as well. And some of these will be new sounds for you. So do your best. That's all we ever ask with the class. There's no right or wrong. And even if you're listening to the sound, that can be enough for it to go in and do its work. So yeah, that's the only thing I've got, Zoe. And just welcome everyone. It's great to have some familiar faces.
Yes. So with Kundalini yoga, just one quick kind of thing. Do we have any breath of fire? I can't remember if we've got any in there. Ruby?
No breath of fire, but with the last exercise, if you are on your cycle, do take it easy. If your energy's fairly low, we don't like to do too much navel contraction. So even if you just place your hands on your lap and long deep breaths, you can keep your arms over your head if you want and do the long deep breaths, but just not too much contraction of that abdominal area. We just like to be nice and gentle.
That is both if you're pregnant and on your cycle, first 3 days of your cycle. Yeah. Okay, so with Kundalini yoga, we always tune in, and we'll start with 2 tune-in mantras, which I'll do now. The first one is using the mantra Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So this is really connecting you into your divine wisdom. Now, if you've never done Kundalini Yoga before, we're not expecting you to just join in, and you're welcome to if you want to give it a go. But you can just listen and absorb it that way. And what you're doing when you're taking this in is kind of really just kind of making sure that your higher self is the most present part of you. And there'll be a second part, which is a protection mantra. And that's a really good time for you to just kind of call in anyone that you would class as your external family. So light family, angels, guides, whatever you believe in. And if you're like, do I? You just like call in help. And that'll come in, just kind of amplify what you're doing. And it's like, it's a good idea to just kind of at that time, just kind of connect in a deeper level. So if you want to just bring the hands into prayer position, and just placing it lightly together at the chest and lightly pressing together and closing the eyes. I'm just going to tune us in, singing Om Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times. So inhaling to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Take a deep breath here, holding the breath, calling in your higher self, and exhale. Now the protection mantra, just imagining 4 bright white pillars of light all around you. Adgure name, Jugadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Gurudev name. Adgure name, Jugadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Gurudev name. Adgure name, Jugadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Gurudev name. Take an inhale. Imagine those 4 white pillars of light swirling together overhead, creating an energy dome of protection over you. And exhale.
Okay, so we're going to get started with a little warm-up exercise. And a lot of this work around creativity also taps into our sexuality and our creative expression of ourselves. So there is often a connection with what we're doing with how we express ourselves vocally, but also how we express ourselves in what we wear and what we do, and just the energy we bring to life and to a space. So in order to do that, we want to make sure that we're quite free in the lower part of our body, so in our pelvic region. And so we're going to do 2 exercises to get started. One is called Sufi grinds, and then the other is spinal flex. And we're going to do about 90 seconds each of these. So if you want to, you can either be in what we call easy pose. So I'll just tip my camera down so you can see me. So I'm just in easy pose here, which is cross-legged, and then the other way is sitting on your knees. Sometimes if I'm on my cycle, it's actually easier to be sitting on my knees, on my heels, and that just feels a little bit more comfortable for me because your pelvis is tilted. So what you're going to do to start off with for Sufi grinds is simply just put your hands on your knees, and then we're going to rotate our pelvis around and around in an anti-clockwise direction. So we'll do about 90 seconds of these, and you can switch halfway through. It doesn't matter. And then I'll let you know, and we'll go into the spinal flex. Got about another 10 seconds to go. Okay, and just coming back to center. And now for the second exercise, you're going to place your hands on your ankles, and we're simply going to rotate our pelvis forward and back. This is called a spinal flex. And so you're bringing the pelvis forward on the inhale, and then protracting on the exhale. Inhale, exhale. So we'll just go for another 90 seconds. You should feel a really nice release in the pelvis again, but also in the upper back. So this works the whole spine. It's a little bit like doing a cat-cow, really nice way just to open up that whole spinal area. And just coming back to center, nice straight spine. You can place your hands on your knees and just return to a nice steady breath.
So partly what Ruby and I were doing, a kind of tag teaming Kundalini with light language to kind of give us 4 amounts of just kind of energy activation to kind of move any stiffness from the body, to kind of move any old blocks that are in your way, kind of stopping you creatively, stopping just in the sacral area. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start with our first light language. And to do this, we're going to, before we get started, I'm just going to ask you just to lightly tap your third eye between the eyebrows. Just to mentally think to yourself, I allow, I allow, I allow. So to give permission for the light and the frequencies from the universe to come in and to work their way through your energy to make space for you for more creative flow. You can just relax your hand now. We're just tuning into your creative potential. So while I'm channeling the light language, you're just going to keep your eyes closed. Just do a nice long breath, wherever feels comfortable. You can receive it any way that feels good to you. And just kind of open up to receive now, because it's for some of you, this is your first time with light language. If you are sitting in a position where you can do butterfly, which is where you're going to bring your legs. It's been really amazing when I do sessions and I do butterfly before and after, and I check in with how much access I have to people's kind of energy field. This is such a great way for you to give away some of your old blockages, because particularly as women, we hold a lot of emotions in our hips. And so while I'm channeling, I just want you to just do a light butterfly, whatever feels comfortable. It doesn't have to be all the way up, doesn't have to be fast, and just to very consciously kind of give yourself permission to let go of anything that you know at a conscious level that is maybe in your way right now. And that can be related to anything, not just creativity. You're just going to do that for about 90 seconds. Kia tikena karataka mok kini gara taka to kare kiti kini gana to kete kama monu kini gara to ka ki nanda ta kada mok kira hartaka ki to kini gana nana ko kita mo ira monu ko ira taka ta kita kana mok ira taki ananda taki monu ko ira tikna harati yana kata ko yana monu ko tikina ira monu ko torti ketika mok tikini ira monu yana ta karati kana mok ora tikana hartaka mok ora tikina ira ta kadoi yana to kare kito kama ira ti nada Merkutikana kritiv to regana katikitera mokoirati. Tiatekana krati mokotikana ira takamokotikana ira toya. Merkukitekana krataka mokotikana ira tokai kamai. Merkutikana kratikana kana hukutukana motikana. Perkuina tigana taka 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 kuikina kratiganai. Keratikana krataka makokitana krataka makikana ira takataka moi. Perkuina takarataka takaratuka makikina ira toira. Perikita kana harataka makokana ira tukikina makuitina kratika makokina ira tukini. Perkuina takakina mokina ira krataka moi. Ira tuia. You can stop flexing the butterfly now and just relax. Karatuki kita kamu kikana ira tu ira taka kake mai menu ira tara ketu kumu kotikina ira tu ketu kumu kotikina ketika mai menu ira na tata kana ira tu kamu kita na kita kara har mai Ainda no que te rata horte como yana ta que tu kara ta que namo kara te kana ira to ke me yana ta ka te kana mo kara ta yana to ka te ke mo ki mena ko tu kara te ka ta yana mo kora tu ka te kana ara to ka ta ka te ga mena ko te kara kara ke mo yana ira ti ara Just taking a deep breath here and holding the breath and just thinking to yourself, I allow, I allow, I allow. Allowing the light and the energy and the colors to move through the body. And exhale.
Okay, you can open your eyes now. So you should be feeling nice and open in that pelvic area, relaxed. And so we're going to do a couple of meditations next that are going to help with prosperity. So in that lower triangle, there's creativity, there's sexuality, but then also security. So security in terms of money as well. So they say that if you do this set of meditations for at least 90 days, that you can bring very, very positive amounts of wealth into your life. So that's one of the things that I love about Kundalini yoga is they don't shy away from helping you bring prosperity into your life through the practices. So these two exercises we'll do for 3 minutes each. And the first one is called Heart and Brain Helper. So it sounds like a nice combination to bring together. And obviously a lot of stuff that we do with the heart in yoga or especially in Kundalini, there'll be some sort of opening of the heart or some sort of touching of the heart area, and just bringing connection to that area is often enough to allow us to open. So what we're going to do, this is quite a dynamic exercise, and you're going to have one hand on the heart and then the other hand just rested in front of your knee. So I'll just bring that down a little bit so that you can see. So your hand is just resting in front of the knee there. And you're going to, for 3 minutes, you're going to alternate. There's no particular eye placement for this. In Kundalini yoga, we tend to move our eyes around, and that connects with the brain in different ways as well. But for this, you just have a normal gaze and a normal breath, but it's really vigorous. So that's really where the work is going to be. And you may find that you work up a bit of a sweat with this. So you're literally going for 3 minutes. We're going to alternate between, but you don't want your hand as you're alternating your arms up and down. You don't want your hand to touch the heart. You just want it to come in front. And likewise, you want to keep the arm nice and straight, and you don't want a floppy wrist. So we want to keep, it's a very dynamic, strong exercise. So we're just going to go here for 3 minutes. No, we don't have to do anything particular with our breath with this. but you'll find that as you keep going, that naturally you're going to work up a bit of a sweat. So we're just on the clock here for 3 minutes. You might find a natural rhythm with your breath anyway as you're moving your arms. And a lot of what these exercises are also really great for is just bring the two hemispheres of the brain together as well. Okay, we're about halfway through. Gonna get your bicep curls in today in this one as well. Okay, last 30 seconds. Okay, and bringing the arms down. Arms should feel a little bit jelly-like, mine are, which is good. Got a bit of a sweat on. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is going to involve a mantra, but this is not going to require your arms to be moving. Your arms are going to be in a set mudra. So anytime that we connect our thumbs, our fingers together, there's all sorts of different patterns that we use with our fingers in Kundalini yoga, and they're called mudras. So with this one, what you're going to do is you're going to take your fingers and you're going to place them together as if you were to do a triangle. But with this one, we want to actually keep our thumbs disconnected. So you're not going to bring your thumbs to touch. They're going to sit lightly apart. So the thumbs will sit lightly apart like this. And so have them resting in front of the chest, the hands resting in front of the chest. And your eyes, it's quite nice because what this does is it creates a nice opportunity for your fingers, for your eyes, sorry, to look down at your pinky fingers. That's your Mercury finger. So you're going to have your gaze looking down there. And we're going to use the mantra Haryang, 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 Haryang for this one. You can just listen to me chant it, or you can participate as well if you want. What we're going to do is we're going to take a long inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to repeat the mantra. Now, they like you to try and get up to about 16 times with this one, but depending on how good your breath hold and your ability to repeat that mantra, you're going to just go for 8 as a minimum. So we're going to inhale. We're looking at our pinky fingers. Inhale. Haryang, 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 and then inhale again. Haryang, 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 Haryang. Haryang, 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 Haryang. And you can just continue in your own time, even if it's mentally repeating the mantra for now, that's okay. But just listen to me and have a go. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. 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 Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. One more time. Hariyang, 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 Hariyang. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
Great. So just keeping your eyes closed, you can relax the hands and just getting to a comfortable position. Just kind of mentally giving permission again for the light to come in a little deeper this time, to really kind of make some moves on creating space for creative flow, creating space for just kind of more energy to come to you, more inspiration to come through. And I will continue with light language. Kiatakana katika mukakina ira takatakatina ira takagana mukatikakina ira takatakatikana mo ira takayana rukatikana ira tikirata mukatikana ira takatikana mukatikana na kataratikana mukatikina mukatukirina rugina takirito kiratikana ira na karatika mukatikana ira takatotukirina rukatikana ira takata mukina ira ira takana mukatikina mayina ira takina katikina morita takana ira murakito kina taratika mukatikana kitikana hardiga mayana nina nana turga mukitikara murikutikite kana irata kamukaritina irata tikamoye takana hardiga mukitikana murikutikira kitikana mukina irata katikina mayira tatakina mukata kutukirina katikina moira tatakina tamoy atata kamore tukitina ira mukutukitukna makuturina Kera te kete kana te tuko moku kena ira te moku tuki kata kana hara te moku tuki kena hara te moku tena ira ta kata moku te kena moku te kete te moi miara te ana ta ta kata moku te kore ira ta rai para ku ira te kete moi ana tuki te hara te moku to kene moi ira tuki te ira moku te kena kere te kere moi ira ada te kete kana moku te kena ana te kete kana moku te kena ira ti ana te kana moku te kena moku te ai Recuerda que no te queda lo tu que kana mo que te queda hasta que no yana muru te queda que te queda mo que te queda ya no te queda que mo que te queda por te queda aquí tu ponía tu yana hasta que no yana tu veía tu como que tu queda mo quiero te que mai que no mo que te era ti no mo que tu te queda recuerda que te que mo yana te que no mai carta haya taking a deep breath here. Speaking to yourself, I allow, I allow, I allow. Allow the language, the light, the energy to move through the body, creating space, embedding enough energy for you to, for full self-expression and for no limits. And exhale.
Okay, so this next one, again, you're getting a few mantras today, which is fun. So this one is called Hare Hari Wahe Guru is the mantra. And Wahe Guru is something that you might, if you've ever heard a little bit of Kundalini, that is a common mantra that you will hear. And so this one is pieced together with the Hare Hari Wahe Guru. And just something to note with this, one of our teachers, Guru Jas, she is a beautiful, beautiful singer as well. And she talks a lot about the power of using your voice and projecting your voice. And what I would say is that if you do get into the practice of something like Kundalini yoga, it's amazing what it does for your capacity to communicate really well and to project your voice. So if you're someone that wants to do more speaking or wants to be on podcasts, or maybe you want to feel like you want to communicate better in your relationships, learning to use the mantra, obviously for the power that it gives you energetically, but just by repeating them can ignite that within you. And also because a lot of these mantras that we're using today, they start from these lower three chakras, which is really your center of power, especially around the navel center. So the last one in particular uses quite a strong sound, our last kriya that we're going to do today. So I just thought I'd share that with you, that's a beautiful benefit. And I could see Zoe smiling as I say that, because maybe she's felt the same over the years of practicing as well. So just a nice little added benefit there for you all. So with this one, what you are going to do is simply, so we use a mantra, a mudra quite often called Gyam. You want to say this, Zoe? Oh, my mind.
Gyam mudra?
Yeah, Gyam mudra, yeah. I was going to say Gyan chakra.
No, it's an easy one. I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, that uses Gyan mudra. So your fingers like this, your thumb and your index finger together, and then your other fingers are just out straight. And you're going to place it again, like we did with that first exercise where we were doing this one, just over comfortably on top of the knees is really nice. So just like this. And this one is really just a repetition of a mantra. So I wouldn't worry too much about, any kind of position with the hands, other than making sure that they're comfortable, and that the work here is really in repeating the mantra. And you're going to do this for a pace of about 4 seconds for each recitation. So the words are said quite quickly. So you're Hare Hari Wahe Guru. So I'm going to play a track as well so that we can get that in the background, and that'll help you as well. So we're going to go for 6 minutes here. So it's quite a little while. So just in your own time, just pick up the mantra as it starts to come through. Remembering Ha Hare Hari Wa He Guru. Okay, and just as you bring your last one to a close, you're going to take a nice long, deep inhale, holding the inhale at the top, and exhale, and again. Just feel that mantra continue to vibrate around you as you exhale. And just quickly, I'll let you know that mantra is really important. It's probably one of the most important ones in terms of creativity and creating creative flow. I really notice like this flow of all of the toxic debris just moving out of me as I sing that. And especially if you really sing it with a lot of power, you're going to wash that away quicker and quicker and quicker. So if you're someone that's wanting to unlock some creative blocks in your life, singing that mantra alone is really going to help awaken your creative potential and discard anything that's been stopping you.
Thank you. I will at the end, we can share the link for that, or share at least the title. There's lots of different versions of it as well. So you can find one that's, more your jam or is your jam. There's lots of different ways that you can make a mantra work for you. And there's lots of different ones as well. So if you're calling in creativity, it's this one. There's ones for prosperity. It's just really great that you can have this extra thing in your arsenal. And often you can be playing a mantra. You don't even have to be singing it. You can play it at a very low volume for it to work for you as well, which is kind of like win-win-win-win-win. We can just have the thing running. It's kind of like a real cheat code. So it's really good to kind of know that as a top secret. But anyway, we're now going to move on for light languages. I'm going to channel to really kind of get you into your full potential. So as I'm going, I get sort of metaphors, I'd say, more than messages, and I'll share them with you at the end. But it's been really interesting to already see kind of a bit more self-expression coming through in terms of the energy. So now we're just going to kind of go into the let's get you some real juicy stuff in there so that you are inspired, so that you are ready to create, and so that you kind of feel in your power to do so. So just slightly closing your eyes and just getting in a comfortable position again, going back in, bringing in the big guns this time for some more light language. Kenna tere kitika mukiti kena khatika moriti na tataka mukiti kena khatika muki kena irati kena kitika moriti mrakuti kena irata kena moira tuya na tiketa kena mukiti kena khatika mukiti kena luku irati kena taka mukiti kena khatika mukiti kena iratu ira mirati kena irati kena mukina nina na tataka mukiti kena mukiti kena iratu ya tikita mukira na irata kata mukiti kena taka moi mrakuti kena taka mukiti kena kata mukina tapara kita kata mukiti kita payana mukito kena gira to kama ko kena mortiki kena kita kita mukute kena kita mukute kena kada mukute kena hatta kita mukute kena na mortiki artuk moi mani wori te kera to kena mukute kena mukute kita kena mukute kena kada mukute kena mukute to kita moi era rukutto kena na mori kena na gira to garate kita mukute kena kita kena mukute kena ruki na te kita mukite kena mukute kena harate mukute kena gira ta rukutto kena gira to yana Katakin da kitikin ira tagina to ira to kitikiti mukaki ira hatta kama ira tagina to kitikin ira taki muri kitikin harate muki kana harati kana ira to ira take mukati kana muki kana Kiat na karata muki to kina tana ira moroti kina ra taka mukrati kina harati muki manaki to kina ra taki to kina harati muki na moriti kina katoka ira taka muki tikina ina taka to kina mai peripeti kina harata to kina mukati kina ira to muke peripeti kina harata muki to kina ira to kina Kana artuka makita na tu karatika mokite kana karatika mokite kana nito kana karatika mokite kana takita mokite kana karatika mokite kana karatika mokite takita kana mokite reku kira takita karata mokite kana karatika mokite kana irati na Taking a deep inhale here, holding the breath. Allow, allow, allow. Allow that wisdom to flow. It's all the juicy stuff coming in. And exhale.
If your eyes have been closed, you can now open them. So our last one is going to be a somewhat physical posture. The main thing in terms of how you're seated is ideally we like you to be seated on your heels again. So on your knees, heels on the ground, and then your buttocks sitting on your heels. If that's not comfortable for you, you can put a bolster or a block or something like that between your legs, and elevating the hips can help some people. If that's not comfortable at all, then just come back to a cross-legged position for this one. After a bit of practice, I know some people structurally just can't sit like that. I know my mother-in-law has a hard time with it. So you got to have nice bendy ankles for it. So with this one, this is called Sat Kriya. And just before we go into this one, I wanted to say one thing that has always stuck with me from our teacher who recently passed, Guru Jagat. And that was that creativity is the antidote to the mental bankruptcy that's caused by the technology age. So we all probably right now, a lot of us who are at home are experiencing a lot of time on technology, and just the uptake in the last few years has been quite incredible. So if you're ever feeling like you're quite bankrupt because of that, physically, energetically, spiritually, relationally, it can disconnect us from a lot of parts of ourselves, that tapping back into your creativity is one of the quickest ways to re-energize and reconnect yourself with, especially with your true self and your true expression. So this last exercise, Sat Kriya, is what we call a complete Kriya. So there's very few of these, but it's great because when you do a complete Kriya, you get bang for your buck with them. And we only need to do this one today for 3 minutes, but people can go for 31 minutes doing this. So it's a bit of a marathon if you really want it to be. So Sat Kriya is an arms overhead one. And this is what people often talk about with Kundalini, is they're like, my arms overhead or my arms outstretched for hours and hours on end. And so, yeah, this is one of those postures for you. We use a pistol grip. So take a pistol grip like this. But what you're going to do, and you'll find, I think, as a woman, that naturally your left thumb will rest over your right. So your left crosses over the top of your right. If we had any men here today, it would be the other way around. So there are some feminine and masculine differences with some of the hand, the mudras, but with this one, left thumb is over right. And then you're going to bring your hands over your head. So you're on your knees, hands are overhead. It will create a natural neck lock, but you just want to keep your neck in so your spine is beautiful and straight. And you'll find that will happen naturally with arms overhead. If you have shoulder problems and you need to relax your arms down at any time, or you can't have your arms super straight, don't worry too much. And so Sat Kriya, the mantra that we repeat in this one is Sat Nam. And this is super, super powerful. This is probably one of the best ones that you could do in terms of igniting power, because we work with what's called the navel center. So as you're with your arms overhead, you're going to take an inhale and contract the navel area. And so remember what we said at the beginning, if you are pregnant or on the first 3 days of your cycle, you can bring your arms down and do long, deep breaths, or if you feel comfortable, do long, deep breaths, but just with the arms nice and gently overhead. So arms overhead, and we Sat contract the navel area. Nam, relax. Sat, nam. And so even if you have one arm overhead and you put your hand there, you'll notice a sat. Bring the navel in, contract it as if you're doing an abdominal crunch. Nam, release it. So we're going to go for 3 minutes like that. One thing to note though, you're not pushing your arms up as you do it. Some people, they think that they move their arms at the same time. Your arms might naturally do that, but your main focus is on this navel area. So we're going to go for 3 minutes with this one. Okay. And I'll do the chanting so you can chant along with me. Sat, nam, 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 sat, nam. Last 30 seconds. Sat, nam, 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 sat. Last inhale. Stretching up. And exhale. Now, after this one, we always do a little relaxation. So do you want to lead us in that, Zoe?
The gong. Are you playing the gong?
Oh,
okay.
Or the sound bowl, either.
Or you can do both if you want. Oh, I'll just do the bowl, straight to the bowl if you want. So if you want to, if you're able to lie down for the last, I'm going to do sound healing. I've got a throat chakra bowl, just going to help kind of vibrate things. If you haven't done bowl healing before, basically it's a crystal quartz bowl. And when it works, kind of vibrates the cells of your body at a certain frequency that allows kind of energetic release. So some people, when they hear a bowl, they maybe feel emotional, they maybe feel certain, I've had like different emotions come up in sound healing. So we're only doing about 3 minutes here, so I'm not going to go too deep, but it's a really good way to just kind of, again, just kind of vibrate everything to get to get the more energy out, and then afterwards I'll follow it with light language to get more energy in as well. And the energy that I'm going to bring up, so I'll go straight from the sound bowl into bringing in kind of creative flow and the motivation to create as well. So bringing kind of right action thoughts into your energy field, so that you're not only kind of coming away with this having had a good clear out and having had a good experience in terms of bringing you more energy, but also giving you that kind of the focus, the right direction for what it is that you're here to call in. And I always give permission with, particularly this bowl, because it is a throat chakra bowl, that if any point, you're muted so no one can hear you, but if at any point you want to make sounds that come with the bowl, some people maybe hum, some sing, sometimes I may sing, which is still a form of the light language coming through, or hum, anything like that. Just give you permission to let out any sounds that go with the bowl as well. Really just kind of self-expression right now is key. And then I'll go straight from that into the light language, so you can just kind of have a nice sort of about 5 or 6 minutes of just chill out time. Moira tu ira tata kama kuikena hitti kana ira takana moi. Murigirti kana ira takara takamora tu ira tikana ira takamakara tu ira takati kitikamukui. Moi ira tita na hati ira ta emara tu ira tita takamoya na ira. Riotta kiana kira takamoya na ture takaya na ira. Moya na ira kira tikana ira moira. Hai na tikara kai moya na rotuya na kitura tiana. Buena tikana mokia and takaya, buena kuratumaya, hayana tukatina ratakamo, yuina krataya, haya, mia, uya, rianata, mueratiana, yamoretiana, riamokaretiana, riayamaya. Moya tia, moya, moya. Kia tia moretina katia, moretina karatia, moya tia nakia, moya, 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 yeah. Taking a deep inhale here, holding the breath. I allow, I allow, I allow. Allow the light, the codes, the frequency, the sound to continue working through the body, to continue making shifts and opening channels. And exhale. Just when you're ready, you can come back to a seated position. And Ruby is going to close us out with a tune out.
Alrighty, so we always finish the class with 3 long satnams. So you can, this is a pretty simple one, so you can either join in or you can just listen. So closing your eyes. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Thank you, everybody.
So I will just share. I kind of get, like I would say, it's mainly metaphors versus memories. And if anyone wants to, I can Instagram you a picture of how the crystals lay on the body and the areas that I work on. Certain crystals come through just to kind of like support what we're doing, and very yellowy, orangey focus today. And actually the energy today was very lemony yellow in general, which is really nice, very uplifting, very kind of bright, and enough space to kind of on give. The one thing I think is always a good place to start with sharing what comes through is that you are all here together at this time for a reason. There's kind of like almost a call that comes in. There's a reason that you said yes to this, whether you know Ruby or myself. There's a reason that you will actually have something within the energy field that you collectively share to be cleared, to bring in, you know, to amplify as well. So, and that's not just if you are live here right now, but that's also for the replays as well. Anyone could watch it a year from now and they're supposed to be in getting this clean out. So it's really cool. So we started with when we were at the hips there, and it was really interesting. There's a lot of kind of gunk in there, and it felt very feminine releasing that was coming out. So more coming out on the left side. So it's kind of like, I just feel this real heaviness, and then kind of clearing it out, and heaviness and clearing it out, and then a little bit on the right, but really was the left there. So this is that kind of the conversations that we've maybe had as a woman or with women that we've maybe not expressed ourselves, the times when we've kind of silenced ourselves, the times when we've stored something instead of expressing it to keep somebody else happy. It felt like the release of a lot of that. So once that was released though, then it was this kind of woof, this big energy, and it almost came up. It felt like a really big kind of shield. Actually, it felt like a crystal shield. It felt like citrine. If anyone has citrine crystals, they've come through a lot today. So if you have one, go use it, bring it to bed with you tonight. Just have it around you for a little bit. That energy was so strong today, more than I've probably had a crystal in a really long time. But this kind of came up, this like citrine shield all around the body. And it was like a warrior stuff. So once this kind of stuff was out of your way, that was like, poof, there's your warrior shield, and you're like kind of like, I'm ready to go, bitch, don't stop me, you know. So it was a really cool kind of thing coming up all around there. When we went into the second one, it was in the heart space, and because of what you'd released in the first one, the second one, the heart space, it was just kind of real open, and it was really beautiful energy. It was just kind of like flowing out and flowing out, really nice. And then once that kind of flowed, then it, do you know, they used to, like, I think they're like in the 80s, these things. It was kind of almost like if you saw someone like a mime artist and they were in one of the, I don't know how I'm going to explain this properly. It was like if you were in a big sphere, but you're inside it and you see the hands pushing through, it was like that. But what that was doing as it was pushing through, it was actually kind of almost like, it was like pushing, what it felt like was like pushing the edge of your creative limits. So it's kind of like, you think you're in this sphere and this is where you are. Actually, you've been given permission to really push the boundaries. You've been really given permission and the strength to really go like, actually, no, this feels better for me. Actually, this feels like more empowering for me. So it was a really cool, very, very cool experience that came in there. For the third lot, a lot at the third eye, and it was really interesting. There was this massive, like, I'm like this, cleaning your eyes, and it was around what you can see. It's around what you've believed in the past. So some of it was kind of old programmings going. Some of it was just like, you know, like you've been to a festival and the windshield of your car is like, you went to Coachella and it was like a filthy mess, and you had to like kind of clean it and clean it and clean it until it got really clean. That's what it felt like. So this kind of like, so once it was there, then all these light codes could come in, and there was this yellow energy that again that was all around. It was streaming a lot today. This yellow energy today just felt so uplifting, and really that uplift is really what I've been looking for in doing these collab sessions, is really looking for a way that we can all kind of help each other spread our light, help each other, because we're all topped up right now with good light. So we now go out and we talk to other people, we cross someone in the street and we're sharing it. And that, to have this yellow energy in particular, feels like we're out there, like, you know, shooting sunshine at people now. So you've got a lot of extra strength there. And the good thing about the light language is it keeps working 24, 48 hours, sometimes longer, depending on the person. So this is going to keep going, you know. So the more interactions you have right now, even if it's just on social media or something, this is sharing that light, and that's so powerful. The last thing was, that was a weird, but they were weird, right? But it was kind of like an opening at the crown. And this opening of the crown, and there was like this thing was able to drop down into it finally. So it felt like, yeah, creative clues maybe, or like it's kind of heavy, but it was kind of like, it was a good thing that was coming in. It was kind of like opening up the space. And I used this this citrine in there because that's what it felt like, this kind of angled down, kind of dropped down, like almost like doof, like this. And so I not really understand what that is. That's probably going to be something that if that resonates with you, you'll get an idea. Maybe you'll have a bit of like creative genius this week or something, or you just get a really good idea that you want to run with. If you are getting new ideas this week, do just go for it. You've been given a lot of support, a lot of energy to do so. The last bit of light language was an energizer. So when that comes through, the singing one, it's really just there to fill up your cup. So most people do feel pretty good after a session, and most people sleep very well after a session. So that's always a nice bonus. But yeah, just kind of like process it in your own way. Everyone experiences the light language in different ways. So some people will maybe feel energy in the hand, some people will see things, some people will feel nothing, they'll get something in their dream, some people are just depends on how open you are and what your kind of skills are in terms of how you receive things. So everyone's different, so there's no judgment in how you've received anything coming through. But to me, this was a really, really uplifting session in terms of like the dynamics of the group. So just thank you so much for sharing your light and being receptive to this light. If anyone has anything they would like to share in terms of their experience or what came through for them, zero pressure to do so. But if you do want to share, it's quite nice sometimes for other people to come like, oh yeah, I felt that too, or I forget a little bit, or even sometimes I forget a bit and they remind me. So more than welcome to do so if you want to unmute yourself and share.
All I was going to say, Zoe, is you were spot on. I had exact same, the container thing. I had a square vision come up.
Oh, yeah. This one, yeah.
Yeah. And then the one where you were saying about the third eye, my eyes were like twitching like crazy. And then that same, crown chakra thing. Yeah, it was all mapped out exactly the same. Crazy. So there you go.
I think that the cool thing with you, Ruby, is that because you've been doing a few sessions with me, you're opening up more and more. So I think it's really cool from like the first session where you're kind of like, yeah, that was all right. And now you're like, yeah, and then there was this thing and then the thing. And it's just like, it's really cool. And that is part of why I record this, that if you want to do it again and go a bit deeper, you can just listen to one section that you liked again, or you could do one exercise that you liked again. And Ruby and I'd be more than happy if there's a particular Kundalini exercise that you want to do again or bring into a daily practice. We'll either send you a video or make you a video. We really want to encourage people to just own their energy. And that to me is like a super important thing for us to do. Did anyone else want to share before we close out? Amanda's normally here, like giving me all the good stuff, which is she's gone dark there.
I don't have anything specific. The third eye, I don't know if you can hear me. The third, oh, I'm on my husband's name. The third eye, so annoying, was really true. And it's really strange because my left eye has been twitching for the last 24 hours and my eye never twitches. I'm not one of those people. So that was really interesting. And then I really liked the feminine energy because, and Ruby, you know this, but with the work I'm doing in the background, and I don't mean my traditional 9 to 5, it's, I'm finding that there's a lot of implicit feminine energy that's coming out. And I just found that really interesting in that, I've always been quite a girly girl, so very feminine in my professional life, but it's really starting to push through. I don't know how else to explain it. Like it's not enough that I'm just feminine in appearance. Like it's coming out in other ways. So yeah, it was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing it. I mean, for me, for both Ruby and I, it's always nice to get feedback because it just, particularly when you're doing light language, you're like, what's happening here? And I just get these weird messages and just kind of just be like, I hope it lands somewhere. So it's always nice when people are like, yeah, that was cool. I just wanted to, if anyone else wants to, just please jump off mute. But if not, I'll just say thank you very much for coming. A lot of you maybe don't know me, so you can see my name, Zoe Mac Energy, if you want to connect with me on Instagram. I also have a Facebook group called the Healers Collab, and this is part of what we're doing here. So it's designed as a safe space for people to come together with any spiritual gifts or spiritual curiosity to just kind of explore what that is. If it's new gifts, giving people a safe space to practice them, because I was very fortunate to have that when mine came through, and I kept meeting people that didn't have it. And so I can always help hook people up with if they want to practice a new gift or anything that's coming through. But also as a chance for people to come together and collaborate. There's been some really cool stuff happening in the group, people becoming other people's podcast guests, people sharing their books that they, people buying others' books, and just lots of cool stuff. And then people saying, oh, I'm practicing my new Reiki, would anyone like a free session? And just things like that. So if you're interested in joining that, that's Facebook groups, the Healers Collab, or you can ask Ruby and myself for that one as well, but always welcome more people in there just to kind of create that safe container for us to kind of continue expressing what's coming through right now, because we're all on an accelerated course, which is fun, but it can be a little bit fast and a little bit scary for some people. So I'm just wanting to create space for that. And then Ruby, is Ruby K Marsh on Instagram for Amanda and Alana who don't know her. So there's lots of ways for us to all connect together. But just thank you so much for taking the time, taking an hour and 17 minutes out of your day to really kind of go through this journey with us, to bring in more of your light so that you have more creative flow, but also you have more creative input flow for other people as well, because it does have a knock-on effect. So thank you. Ruby, did you want to close out with anything?
I think you've pretty much said it all. And thank you for your support, because this is the biggest group that I've taught this many careers to. So I really appreciate you being here, and hopefully I gave you enough instruction there. But that's the beautiful thing about Kundalini, is that you can just go with it. And I was saying to Zoe when we were preparing for this, that I imagine myself doing this till I'm 90. So I'm not too hung up on being perfect right now. So if you want to join me on that ride, I'll be there on my mat at 90 plus, hopefully. And we can rock it as grannies together. So thank you, everyone. Lots of love, and have a really beautiful weekend. Yeah.
Oh, just a quick one. If you do want a copy of the crystal, I'll share it with Ruby. You can get in touch with me just if you want to kind of be curious about how that landed on the body. I think it's always nice to see that as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Alex, thanks, Alex.
Beautiful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Jackie.